Lon Esmond here for Winners and Winers, joined by my compadre, David Delano, who, by the way, is just killing it in basketball picks and is in like the top 95% of brackets, which is amazing considering how many people's brackets have been completely blown up by the number of supposedly really good teams that have lost. Of course, I'm a St. Mary's Gales fan, so I was kind of disappointed in sort of the lopsided second round loss, but that's sort of what they do. If they do get into the tournament, they might win a first round game. They never get beyond the second. And of course, I hate Gonzaga. Hate them. Hate the Zags. Hate them because they are St. Mary's nemesis and they beat them every time they play. So I'm really pissed that they're still in. I would like to see them very much lose. But we're not talking about basketball, are we, David?
No, we're here to talk about the XFL today. Well, for this video, yeah.
And by the way, if you managed to catch the XFL games last weekend, you were really sleepy the next day. Oh my gosh. 7:30 West Coast start times? Really?
Yeah, it's been a little tough. At least they had some better games, at least score-wise, but really a lot to compete with right now with March Madness going on.
Nothing like that Renegades Brahmas barn burner, that 12-10 final. Woo! Anyway, yeah, the games because of March Madness are really hard to find last week. There's actually a Monday night game this week. Monday night, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. So, and I'm going to be taking Monday off because I'm working all weekend. So, yeah, I'm going to be pretty tired Monday. All right, David, let's talk about what's happened last weekend, shall we?
Yeah, can you see me or am I froze? I'm froze
You're
on my
frozen,
damn.
but I'm fine. So you'll just catch back up with us in a minute.
All
Um,
right.
the Defenders are the lone undefeated. They get to face probably the second best team in the XFL in the Roughnecks this week. DC, by the way, is leading the league in rushing at 175 yards per game. They play stingy on defense. Houston's benefited from playing a bunch of home games against lousy competition. They've had the Guardians twice. 40% of their schedule is playing the Guardians. So maybe that loss to the Sea Dragons shouldn't have been that shocking. On the other hand, the Sea Dragons can throw the ball all over the place. They can't run at all. Their defense is not that great, but really, it's turning the ball over at inopportune penalties and stuff that are killing them. The St. Louis Battlehawks are interesting. They've got the overall best offense in the league, led by QB A.J. McCarron, but their defense keeps letting them down. The Arlington Renegades and Brahmas of San Antonio have been using defense to stay in games while mostly losing. And Orlando has consistently been the worst team in the league, but they scored more than 30 points. 30 points for the first
Well,
time last week.
well, Orlando made a change at quarterback. I know they're a big underdog, but they made a change to Quentin Dormady. He played really well. That's something that I think a lot of people may not be paying attention to with them being a 9.5 point dog is they've got a different quarterback in there that could end up making we'll see, but it could end up making a pretty substantial difference.
Yeah, this is interesting because we've got this still life of David, but the voice is working. So let's keep rolling along. The Sea Dragons beat the Roughnecks 21-14 in Seattle again. I had that one wrong. I had Houston winning that game. They lost 21-14, but yeah, you start looking at their schedule and they've been beating up on garbage teams. And they also played almost all their games at home. So it's going to be a real question as to, are they contender or pretender? We'll learn a lot about them this week when they play DC. The Defenders beat the Battlehawks 28-20. I liked the Defenders to go in and win that game -3, and they did. Man, Abram Smith of the Defenders was the player of the week. He ran for 218 yards, a couple of long touchdowns. McCarron was just under pressure all night, couldn't get anything going, even with that record crowd for the Battlehawks of almost 40,000 at an XFL game. Vipers 35, Guardians 32. Two teams that aren't very good combined for the highest score of the week. I had the Guardians plus 7 points in this one, and they did cover. And then the Renegades and the Brahma. 10-12 was the final there. Very weird. The Renegades and the Brahmas play again this week. So let's run it back. So we'll see what happens there. All right. Go ahead.
That Defenders game on Monday night. I think that's going to be an interesting test for the XFL. It's going to be after the we know who's in the Final Four, so they won't have to compete with college basketball. And you've probably got a preview of the XFL championship game. With it being Monday night, I'm interested to see what the ratings are like. It's right before baseball season starts. I think if they don't get good ratings this Monday, it's going to be tough to see when the ratings, when people will care. But it'll be interesting because we've got if there's ever been a time to tune into the XFL, I think it's this Monday night.
The Sea Dragons, by the way, and the Battlehawks, I could see both of those teams catching the Roughnecks. I think the Roughnecks are going to lose again this week. That'll put them at 4-2. So if the Sea Dragons win this week or the Battlehawks win this week, they'll be tied with. Well,
what about but Houston in the South Division? They've got Arlington, San Antonio, and Orlando.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's too bad. Well, let's put it this way. I think, you're going to have a 4-team playoff. And I do think that the Battlehawks or the Sea Dragons have already proven they can take out the Roughnecks. I think there's a chance the Battlehawks could as well. The numbers this week: Seattle Sea Dragons at Orlando Guardians plus 9.5. St. Louis Battlehawks on the road in Vegas. It's Battlehawks -3. The San Antonio Brahmas, who I had covering last week, +3 against the Renegades, are now only +2.5 this week on the road. Odd. And then the Roughnecks +2.5 against the Defenders on the Monday night game. Defenders -2.5. I've got 3 premium picks this week on those games, so go and check them out. And I am going to have a video for you on the Brahmas and the Renegades game this week that you can get for free. All right, David, thank you for being a statue, but a living voice here on the video this week. I'm Loud Esmond. By the way, we're brought to you by No House Advantage.
One thing before you go, yeah. I've got a premium pick. I've actually got it as my XFL play of the month is going to be on Saturday in that game between the Battlehawks and the Vipers. So definitely recommend people checking that out. Feel like after 5 weeks, we've got a good sample size, and I absolutely love this Battlehawks Vipers matchup.
And I've got plays on 3 games, and you can buy all 3 for $29.99. $29.99, get all 3 of my picks this weekend. All right, we're brought to you by No House Advantage. And why is that, David?
It's a fantasy sports app that lets you play over/under player prop totals. You can play against the house or other players. We have a promo code W&W, like winners and whiners. A first-time deposit bonus of up to $100.
I'm Loud Esmond, trying to make you here at Winners and Whiners a better